Hi everybody, hello, welcome to tonight's live stream. My name's Matt. Thank you all so much for being with us. I am really excited and I am joined by AIE superstar Selena Lee tonight and 3D artist extraordinaire Jacob King. So a big thank you to Selena and Jacob for being with us. I'm really excited for this live stream tonight, everybody. Jacob King, if you do not know or have never heard, has worked with SMG Studios and also has just finished recently with Plastic Wax and has a lot of experience with 3D modeling, texturing, and cannot wait to get into the live stream and find a little bit more about his projects and his journey. So throughout tonight, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to go ahead and pop them in the YouTube or Facebook chat or on our website, and we'll do our best to get them answered throughout the evening. But no more from me. I'll pass over to you, Sel and Jacob.
All right, thank you, Matt. Thank you again for, I guess, coming online and then inspiring some of our audience and possibly current and prospective students. So in case, people in the audience don't really know who you are or what you do, why don't you start off by introducing yourself and some of the work that you do?
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, Selena. So hi, everyone. My name is Jacob, and I'm a 3D artist. My job involves taking an idea or concept and bringing that into the digital landscape. It can range from a small kettle to a large skyscraper building and pretty much anything in between.
Cool. And you're an AIE graduate, and we're super proud that you're a hotshot in the industry now. So when did you actually graduate, and what course did you do?
So I graduated AIE. I did the game art and animation course in the year. I graduated in the year 2017.
And do you want to tell us just a little bit about your professional experience since you graduated, some of the studios you worked at, and some of the cool projects that you got to do as well?
Yeah, sure thing. I'll give you a quick rundown before I go to the next question and walk you through it. But my professional experiences have ranged across a number of areas. Since graduating IIE, I've done ArcViz, mobile game development, and also helped in the production of game cinematics. So it's been quite fun.
Cool. And what are some of the studios that you worked at as well?
So I started, so studios, I worked at Plastic Wax, SMG, InspaceXR, and done some freelance jobs here and there for like Gamma Minus and stuff like that. So yeah, just pretty long road, pretty good journey so far.
So you did, you mentioned you did a bit of game art, you did ArcViz, so emerging industries, and also game cinematics, which is more like veering towards the VFX side. Which one of these three, or maybe there's one I haven't mentioned that you feel like that's your favorite and that's something that you enjoy doing the most?
I wouldn't say I have a favorite. They all kind of like, share responsibilities and things. So your skills are very transferable. Of late, I've been in the game cinematic game and stuff like that, and that's been really interesting to see, especially coming from a game background from AIE and that, and then seeing how the VFX side gets done. It's really cool, and you get to work on some really cool projects and some cool titles as well.
And since you graduated from a game art and animation course, was it easy transitioning into VFX? So if like, I don't know, I'm a current graduate and I did a game art course, I'm mainly focused on game engines, but suddenly I wanted to kind of go into film. Is that like an easy transition?
From my experience, it's again the skills are transferable as long as you have the fundamentals there. Like for a modeler per se, if you understand topology, workflow, and you know how to optimize your models, and you're not handing like down the pipeline it's got a million polys for no reason, But like as long as you got the fundamentals and game can apply to film just as film can apply to game. There's no real definitely.
And your last job was at Plastic Wax, where you were an asset artist. It's a bit of a vague name. What does an asset artist actually do? Please educate me. I'm very noob in this area.
Yeah, no worries. So as an asset artist, I worked with my team, and I had the lead. And what we did was pretty much we just block out the stuff for props, which are like, your drink bottles or your desks. It's anything that can fill a room. And then also you could also delve into the set piece and environment stage of that. So like you could build the actual room the stuff goes into. But generally, yeah, just blocking it out, modeling it, and then getting it ready so you can texture it and hand it off to animation if need so. And yeah, pretty much that's what that is.
So in like a cinematic environment or game environment, like you will be modeling down to like the very small details. If I can get Matt just to show the audience some of the work that you did. So that was for Magic, I believe. What part did you play in this video that we're showing here?
So so this was one of my first big times I got to work on a cinematic and actually contribute some models and stuff. So we got given models for the crown and these weapons that you can see the necromancer is holding the big axe kind of looking weapon and the scythes. I would get a version of that and then up-res it in ZBrush and make it look a lot more detailed. It's pretty much what you were saying, how like, making sure there's got nice cracks and details and everything can shine through. But yeah. And
it's just a crazy amount of detail. That's all right. Keep going. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say, I only contributed a small part. I've got to give credit to the rest of the team that worked on it. Like, getting this set up with the glass was a challenge, and like all the characters look amazing. And so yeah, it's a great team effort. They did really well.
And how long did it take? There's just so much detail in that very short trailer.
I'm not. It takes a little while, not too long. I think it goes for a few months or so. So we'll get it and then they'll start breaking it down, and clients will have talk with the higher ups and stuff like that. And then it'll trickle down to us artists and stuff. We just start hammering out the models and the textures and making sure the lighting looks good, because the lighting artists do amazing work, and get animation as well. Like they get it pumping out, and the characters look awesome and lifelike. So it's really good. But not too long. Pretty good. Quick turnover, which is good.
You guys must be super efficient. And fun fact for everyone watching, and Jacob, not sure if you know, but the Civ ad that's playing right now, that's actually one of my favorite game trailers of all time. This and the very original Civ 6 trailer. And what did you make in, what part did you play in this cinematic here?
Yeah, so when Civ was going on, I had actually been hired as a asset assembler. So pretty much I would get the caches, which are what they like. They record, like, in a way, recordings of like animation and cloth sims and stuff like that. And I would help take that from the animators and the cloth artists and hair artists as well, and get that onto the character, like the skeleton, so they can move and they breathe life to them and stuff like that. And it was great. It was good fun getting to see like other people's work and how hard they work and put it on their assets and stuff like that and see it work. But it would be funny as well, because I'd see like a character's fur just pop off and fly off. So it had some funny instances. Definitely a good experience.
And since that's my favorite trailer of all time, what have been your favorite project to work on in your extensive career?
Favorite. I'm going to be cliche here and say I don't have a favorite. I've enjoyed everything I've worked on. They've all supplied me with different experiences and knowledge. Definitely increased my tool belt. But I'm pretty happy with the project that I just finished up on recently. It's NDA, so I can't go into too much, but I'm very excited for you all to see it, and I'm very keen to see it myself. But yeah, that was that close. Held that close to my heart for that one. I'm keen to see it.
Cool. We've got our first viewer question for tonight. So someone from the audience has asked a really good question. So I'll just pop it up on screen for you, Jacob. Was it hard to get your first job?
Tough question indeed. It can be tough. It just depends. Like I remember when I was at AIE, it was told like it could pretty much, being realistic, 10% would get a job straight away, and from on then you just keep trying. But yeah, I got my first job, actually, funny enough, through a AIE colleague of mine, and he had a project going, and he's like, would you like to jump on? And I'm like, yeah, definitely, I'll dip my toe into the industry, this would be cool. And yeah, so my advice is just to be proactive, network, and something will come along eventually. Definitely, if you're very active and outgoing, you'll get something for sure.
Cool, I like it. Thank you so much for putting that question through, Jono. Keep them coming.
Yeah, thanks.
And for anyone else who does have a question, as I said, pop them in chat throughout this evening, and we'll do our best to get them answered.
And that was your very first role ever. But for all these roles that you've been in, like SMG Studio, Plastic Wax, was the application process always, I guess, networking related? So did you kind of get referred a job, or do you still have to go through the whole application online process, handing out resumes?
Yeah, no, definitely that's important as well. I remember I had put my, as one of my teachers suggested, I put my application in for SMG Studios, and then I had just set it and forget it, and I didn't get a response back until, actually, funny enough, I'd finished a contract and I got offered a job. So yeah, that's another definitely valid avenue of getting a job, to get your resumes ready and portfolio as well.
And speaking of first jobs, what made you want to go into the industry in the first place? Was there like a game or film project that inspired you to become an artist yourself?
Yeah, again, I'm going to be cliche. I didn't have a favorite film or game media that was my epicenter that led to me getting into the industry. But I obviously adore the work that I do, and I love games and film. They do play a part. But funnily enough, I was a kid in high school. I loved doing art. I could do some sketches. I was no Picasso or Banksy, trust me. But I got given my uni handbook from my careers counselor, and I was just like, yeah, what do I want to do? And I did the old cover the eyes and drag the finger across the page and see what I could find. And I actually stumbled across AIE, and I'm like, I researched it. I know it sounds too crazy to believe, but it's true. It was at the back of the book, and I found it, and yeah, and I researched it, and I saw that you guys had a work experience program going on, and so I applied, I got in, I was over the moon. I was like, hell yeah, this is cool. And then, yeah, I went and did the experience. I learned all the avenues that were on offer, and I loved it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to apply for this. And yeah, that's the history that it is.
That's crazy. It's almost like it's fate that you to become a 3D artist. That's super awesome. And since you said you kind of just, I guess, you were always an artsy kid and you chose this almost randomly. Do you think there's much difference between 2D and 3D? If I'm a good 2D artist, I automatically become a good 3D artist. How was that transition for you?
Well, I remember going in and having my interview with AIE, and I had my, the binder with all my art pieces. So I was so proud. I'm like, oh, look, I've done my drawings. But I was nowhere near wanting to be a 2D artist. And they all the same, AIE was like, yeah, you've got some talent, and we can definitely, mold that and see where we go from it. I definitely think that doesn't matter if you come from a 3D background, you want to get into 2D, or vice versa. It all applies, and you just never know what you want to do until you get into it.
I'm going to jump in for a second. I've got a question of my own, being a viewer. But throughout AIE, as an artist, did you develop your own style while you were studying? Or is that something that you already kind of knew going in? And is it something that you still are unsure of yet? So take us a little bit of into the mindset of your style of art.
Yeah, no worries. So, style. Okay. I reckon I'm still discovering my style now. You never truly finish, but it definitely helped. I went into AIE and I had no 3D background, and then I started listening to veterans and their stories. I started looking behind the scenes a lot more, which was crazy. And you start to pick up, I love Tor Frick. He's one of my favorite modelers, and he does hard surface like no one I've ever seen. Same with drawing a blank now, but yeah, sorry. But yeah, so you pick pieces, as any great artist do. You pick pieces here and there, and you get inspired, and eventually your own, style will come out naturally. And yeah, I definitely think that's how it goes.
Is it almost as if you're constantly putting weapons in your arsenal? So if you, as an artist, it's I can now do this, I can now do this, and you're just constantly building upon. When that time comes, you can draw from it and be like, yes, this is what needs to go here or can go here.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. Like, don't be narrow-minded. Don't just stick to one art style and like shove away anything that comes along. Like, be open. Like, experiment, look at different things, and you never know what might come your way. You'd be like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though I'm a 3D artist, I still like I take inspiration from 2D. Like I watched a cartoon not too long ago, Samurai Jack, and some of the background environmental like art that they do is truly inspiring, and it's just like, oh, I'd love to translate that into art. So yeah, definitely take inspiration wherever you can get it from.
Yeah. Cool.
And while you're mentioning your art style, I'm gonna get Matt to put some of your asset projects on the screen. There's should be like a peg and a fan. So with these very realistic looking objects, do you kind of make it up from scratch, or do you get like a real life kettle, for example, and then you model it like bit by bit after that real life kettle?
So yeah, it's very key to get as much reference as possible. Like I remember being in my apartment and I got the kettle and I had reference all over my PureRef thing, and I was just like, oh man, I just can't get to specific like thing. I want to see how it's done. So I like literally went to the kitchen, picked up my kettle, and just took it into my room, and and yeah, and it's just like that's a great way of doing it. Just gather reference from real life, because what's the best better than real life reference, right? You're never gonna get better than that, for sure.
I find that really interesting because we've had one of our AIE students, and he did a fan tribute piece, I guess, to one of their favorite characters. And then I always thought it was really interesting how you can literally make fan art or real life sketches, but in the 3D realm. Like for you with the kettle, it's just your own kettle, and then you wanted to model it in 3D. Are they generally quite strict with these kind of things when you're, say, making a kettle for a professional project? Do they have to be like, oh, this cannot look like this specific brand of real life kettle?
So yeah, in terms of like modeling topology and stuff like that, if you depending on what you'll get told, you'll get a brief and obviously some specs and stuff. But yeah, you try to keep it as clean as possible and as realistic as possible, especially when it comes to film. But I haven't experienced myself, but I have heard from other colleagues that yeah, especially branding and stuff like that, we try to avoid it because you don't want to get into any trouble having a peg that resembles a certain type of brand or so. Yeah, that's probably best just to avoid that. I sometimes, funny enough, I like to hide on my personal projects. I do my last name or my logo. I just put it somewhere, and that's kind of like the branding I do sometimes. Yeah.
I like your logo though. It's like it's at the bottom right of the picture for those of you in the audience. It's a really cool logo. Did you design it yourself as well?
Yeah, I kind of just like kit bashed things and stuff. I messed around in Photoshop until I came to something. I didn't want anything too flashy. I wanted something pretty simple because I obviously want to try and get people to look at my art. So yeah, I was like, yeah, that should do. That looks fine. I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah.
And while we're on the topic of all of your personal work and you putting your logo onto things, how much creative input do you generally get in these professional projects? Do you get a strict guideline, or do you kind of get to essentially let your creative juices flow and make whatever you want as long as it is like a kettle or a peg?
Yeah, right. So it really depends on the work at hand. Like, for instance, when I was doing ArcViz, we work off building blueprints, and the stuff needs to be very strict because you're also utilizing VR, and you don't want some client to go into this, project, and you've got a kettle or a door, and it's 50 million stories high. You know, they're going to be like, "What's going on?" So yeah, that's a different an instance where I learned that you have to be by the books and stuff like that. But not saying with film and game, it's the same scenario as well. You get an art brief, and there's guidelines you'll need to follow. But I do find that naturally, being an artist, your creative flair will come through your object or whatever you're making, character, so forth. Everybody's got their own nice little touches that they just naturally come about. But yeah, it'll go through review, and your lead will have a look at it and stuff like that, and you'll get feedback, and that's just great because you're like utilizing your creative inspiration, but you're also getting feedback and you're following the stuff. But I always, as like a key rule, I always love the idea of personal work because that's a blank canvas. That's yours. You can go nuts and express yourself and have fun, right? So yeah, definitely go free with that. But yeah.
Nice. We do have a couple more questions that have come through from viewers. So we've got two to get through. So I'll just pop them up one up on screen now. John has asked a follow-up question to his first one. And what industry standard programs for modeling and texturing would you or have you used?
It really depends. So I obviously I learnt Maya. That was my primary program that I learned, and then I dabbled in Substance Painter, even Designer as well. It really depends. Studio to studio, it changes. I remember at SMG, I used 3ds Max, and then Plastic, they have 3ds Max and Maya. But I even knew an artist that was using Blender, so it really just depends where you go. So I think what you should do instead is not worry too much about software per se. I know that it can slightly differ and stuff like that, but try and get your fundamentals down, and then that knowledge will carry over. And it doesn't take that long to like snap up and get the new software going, stuff like that. But yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, I've heard. I'm not a programmer or artist or designer, sadly, myself. But I do
That's all right.
speak with a lot of students and alumni and graduates, and a lot of them say that the languages are very, very similar to use. So if you know whether it be Maya or Blender, Photoshop, it's pretty quick to universally transfer those skills over. So. Good question though coming through from John, thank you. And we do have another one that I'll just pop up on screen. Speaking of games as well, while you answer this one, I am going to put up, we've got a lot of fantastic trailers from your work, Jacob, so I want to put them up as well, just while we're speaking, so that we can be enjoying a bit of both. But yeah, go ahead for the question from Mark.
Yeah, no worries. So I did do some game making whilst at AIE, but on the side, I'm also have been practicing my modeling, getting up to scratch with topology, getting all that stuff, tip top shape. And but yeah, no, definitely, I'm more than ready to like dabble in some game making on the side and stuff like that. So yeah, to answer your question, no current games made by myself or in a team yet, but yeah, definitely not opposed to doing it.
Awesome.
I think you can put some of Jacob's AIE projects on the in the reel. We do have some of the games that you have made in the past. So Mark,
the
you can always
memories.
check some of these out. And speaking of AIE, how was your AIE experience? Like your teachers, classmates, the projects, which we're showing on the screen right now.
Oh yeah, AIE. I can sum it up in a word: eye-opening. That's for sure. Coming from being that moviegoer and game player, we just jaw on the floor, going, "How do they make this magic? Like, what is this?" To meeting actual industry vets and like hearing their stories and working with colleagues, and they have varying backgrounds, technical backgrounds and stuff, and learning from them and going, "Oh, okay, that's how code works. Oh, this is crazy." And oh, the level's designed this way, that for a specific reason. It's mind-boggling. And I made great friends while I was at AIE, both colleagues and teachers alike. That was an insane experience to have, like, not only people in your class, but your teacher as well, who's a close friend and would teach you and you'd learn. It was amazing. And the subjects that you get taught are a wide variety, touch a lot of things. So it's very knowledgeable and very informative. So you definitely get the tools to help you in the industry, that's for sure.
Yeah, and those are really nice words, by the way. We're super touched here at AIE. And those John, who asked about the programs, we do teach you Maya, Substance Painter, and the whole lot here at AIE as well. So if you want to start from scratch, you can come and learn at AIE. Product placement here. So, Jacob, what's the best part that you think about working in games and film as an artist?
Okay. What have been? I honestly, I was gonna hate me. They'd be like, there has to be something you don't like. But honestly, I enjoy it all. Even the UVing, like, that's a little joke for the modelers that are ripping their hair out right now. Like, what do you mean? UVing sucks. But no, I enjoy it all. It's just really great to just be open-minded and learn everything. And working on projects can be strenuous at times, but it has its perks. And for me, that's definitely the connections made. Like, you go through these experiences, you learn so much, all the while making great friendships, and they're there for like, forever pretty much. And it's a not small, but it's a close, tight-knit industry. So, as long as you're kind and you're welcoming and stuff, like, you'll be fine, you'll get along. And besides, it's also like working with your friends as well. You get to work on these amazing products. Like, some of the stuff that I've heard people work on and I've had my chance to work on too, is I would never have dreamed it. It's so cool.
And since you mentioned networking, what do you think the best way for like a budding game or film artist is to like network? How can they connect with the industry?
Oh, yes. Okay. Definitely. Like AIE is a really good thing for that. They always used to set up like game jams and industry showcase nights, and like there was even Beer and Pixels, which is a local event. You go down to Off Broadway Hotel, and yeah, and I'd always go there with my friends, and we just chat, and there'd be people showing their games. You get to have a play. It's like a mini PAX. It's so cool. Like for those who don't know, PAX, you know, the event where you go and there's all games on show and stuff like that. Yeah, but yeah, it's amazing. Those are definitely I believe that you should be, outgoing and try and network as much as possible, because you don't know who you're going to meet, and you don't know what they're going to offer you in terms of knowledge and what they have to show, and learn from them and see what their experience has been. It's truly great community.
Yeah, we definitely still have those events. Hopefully, with quarantine easing up, all of our other campuses will also have these events coming up as well. And then you maybe meet Jacob there as well, just chilling, and you can ask him more questions as well.
Yeah, feel free.
And now I'm going to ask you like something a little bit more controversial, but since you said you didn't really have a favorite part, what's like something about the industry, like games or films or game cinematics that most people wouldn't know, but you kind of only learn once you get into it?
Okay, for me personally, it was the use of motion capture, which is the funny suits you see people in with the white balls all over, right? When I first started out at Plastic, I had the awesome opportunity to be on hand kind of helper, and funny enough, not people. I don't know if many people know this or not, but the beam that Scorpion in the MK trailer, who he gets his head mushed into by Raiden, that's me. I'm there in like helping the motion capture guys with the beam. So I'm like, yeah, but
So you played a beam. No, that's all right. You played a beam?
yeah, I beam. That's right. So it's on screen now. I'll show you when it comes up. But yeah, amazing trailer, by the way. Guys did awesome.
I love Mortal Kombat. It's a little bit too bloody for me, but I like watching other people play it.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So that beam there, that the one Scorpion just got punched into, that's I'm behind helping them with the what do you call them, gymnastic mats and stuff. So I'm holding up so the actor doesn't get hurt. And it was pretty cool. Definitely get to see the guys do that. It's really cool.
And do they hire actors to wear the motion capture suits, or any like artist can just like put it on and help out with the production?
No, they definitely hire actors. These guys are like properly trained. Like, oh man, I would look like a goofball just dancing around in a motion capture suit. So I'm just there kind of helping. But yeah, no, they get professionally trained actors, and they do an excellent job. Like, especially for MK, seeing them do like, you know, like martial art moves and getting the stuff set down, and it's intense. It's like, whoa. And sweaty as well.
I just wanted to jump in and say very quickly, you're probably making a lot of our viewers very jealous that you're the one that got to work on this. Like this is, I'd imagine a lot of students' dreams being like working on the set of Mortal Kombat, seeing and making this actually into a game. That would be, yeah. So viewers out there, please take it as motivation.
You can be a beam too. I just realized time passes really quickly when we're like having fun and laughing. Okay. But we're actually reaching the end of our live stream. So those of you with questions, it's your last chance to ask Jacob anything. But otherwise, Jacob, what advice do you have for someone like a young person or a current student who wanted to go into game art or archviz or film art? Do you have any like last pieces of advice?
Yeah, for people that are trying to get in, don't give up. It's a tough industry, but you will make it in. Just keep trying and practice hard, because there's never enough that you can, not learn. But for people in the industry, I wanted to make sure I said, have a notepad. That's my biggest thing for you, is have a notepad and never be afraid to ask questions. Like, you want to be that person that knows it now rather than making a mistake later and have you make up for it. So notepad, and definitely write as much notes as you can.
And is smartphone viable as well? Just a smartphone notes app?
Yeah, sorry. Yes. Yeah, no, for the people who use your mobile phone. I'm old school with a notepad.
We do have another question that's come through. Angel Cormier has asked a good one, and I'll just pop it up on screen now. So Angel is thinking of doing the game art diploma next year. So what do you reckon in terms of advice for the face-to-face classes in terms of networking?
Yeah, I personally did in face-to-face classes. I know that they were offering, AIE was offering like remote classes and the advanced classes as well. Am I saying that correct? It was like the, yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, sorry.
Oh, we've got the online campus that does offer everything that our in-person campus offers as well, in terms of study pathways, opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. All those avenues are very valid. But I personally did the face-to-face, and I do think it really helps because, am I in focus? No,
Yep, there we go.
There we are. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, being face-to-face I found was really helpful, especially for a new beginner. I had no idea of 3D in general, and then also the networking side of it. You could totally learn that on your own. I'm not saying that's not a valid option too, but for me personally, it really did help. It's like a a head start. It just really helped. So.
Yeah.
And for those of sorry. Oh, and those of you wanting to study online because you live remotely, for example, there's a lot of online avenues that you can get in touch with the industry. I think before Adam Matthews, when we interviewed him, he said Twitter is really great. And if you have an art station as well, industry will come to you. So yeah, just don't fret if you wanted to study online as well. But of course, those of you preferring like face-to-face events, wanting to go to Beers and Pixels, for example, or PAX, then yeah, face-to-face definitely would be the better option for you as well.
Yeah, if I may make a suggestion as well, Discord. I have a few Discords that I'm involved in. Like, if you follow a few YouTubers, they'll have Discords where, like for instance, Elementor. He's one that's really good. Sorry, I'm not promoting him or anything, but for topology wise, he's really good. I joined his Discord, and they've got a lot of people that are willing to help. So join a Discord, even make your own. Like, find people that are like-minded, like you. You know, birds of a feather flock together. So that's 100%. That's an option as well. Many avenues, we're tech age this day, so it's good.
And finally, sorry.
I was just jumping.
We're just cutting each other off.
And towards the end of the stream, we've now got a bunch of questions flooding in. So I'm like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Welcome, guys.
We've got a few minutes. We can definitely go over time a little bit. So I'm just going to pop the next one up on as well. This one comes from, and I'm so sorry if I pronounce this incorrectly, but Subban, who has just finished the Advanced Diploma in Game Art and Animation, currently looking for a job. Jacob, do you have any tips?
Yeah, sure. Tips. Okay, so make sure you've got your portfolio up and ready, which I presume you already are doing because AI is helping you and you're getting it done yourself, which is good. But yeah, I got taught an important rule by one of my teachers. It was like, whatever's on your portfolio, you could have 10, 20, half it. Because like you only want the best work that you can show, because that's what people, when they recruit, they are gonna, they don't know you personally, so they look at you at face value, they look at your art, and you want to have your best, best dress on, ready to go. Again, network. But yeah, just in general, practice your craft. Start applying for jobs. Don't be afraid. I know a lot of jobs will be like, oh, you need this amount of experience and stuff like that. But getting your name out there, like definitely how I explained with SMG, it's like you send out your resume, you may not get a response, but at least you've done it, and they will quite possibly see an improvement since the time you applied last time to the time you're applying again. So just don't give up. You'll get there for sure.
So some companies do enjoy seeing and do like when they see a different job role come up and they see the same name of someone applying and they're like, hey, this person really does want to work for us. It's not just a once-off thing. They've flicked into resume, and if they don't get it, oh well. They like to see consistency there within it as well. So if new jobs are popping up from that company that you've originally applied for, Subban, definitely put through another resume. There's nothing, no harm that it can do. So that is a really good question though, and hopefully very useful, that answer for a lot of our viewers. We do have one more that I'm going to flick up on screen before we run too far over and make this a double length live stream. But this one here, so this one comes from Stan. He's thinking of being a concept artist, but the skills knowing both 2D and 3D. So it's a really good question again. I just wanted to throw that one to you originally, Jacob, and just asked what skills, I guess, did you need at AIE 3D, 2D, and what piece of advice could you have for Stan?
Yeah, so my forte is not concept art, but I've done a little bit of research into it. So I do know that they do utilize 3D programs as well. They can really help, especially for blockouts and then getting an initial, go ahead for your 2D concepts. But Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Same principles for 2D art, traditional 2D art, and all that stuff apply to 3D. So you want to get colors right and learn about lighting and shading, all that stuff. So definitely, as long as you've learnt that and you just look into all those things, you should be fine. Yeah, and don't ever think that you don't have enough skills. Like that's one thing that I can definitely recommend to all young budding artists and stuff like that. Is that you get in this mindset of like, I'm never ready. I need to be 10 years experience, 20 years experience. But it's okay. Like as long as you've got knowledge behind you and you're showing that you're committed and ready to learn, then you will go far. It's no issue.
Fantastic, and thank you so much for taking the time to answer those ones. Hopefully everyone got the answers that they were looking for or learnt a little bit from Jacob. So thank you for putting them in, and Sel, I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, just before we wrap up, if you guys didn't see, my light literally just went off signaling, signaling the end of the live stream. But what's ahead for you, Jacob? So you just finished up that plastic wax contract, quite recently. So what's your any career goals for you? Where you head into next?
So I guess the same career goals as anyone really. I'm gonna keep on practicing, and I'm currently just practicing at the moment. I'm gonna enjoy Christmas because God, December came quick, didn't it? And just take a little bit of a break for a while and then get back into it. That's for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for the live stream, Jacob. Me and Matt loved hearing your stories, and I'm sure like people in the audience super keen to ask more questions. Is there a way that they can check out your work if they wanted to ask you more questions or just to see what you're up to?
Yeah, sure. I have ArtStation. You can try and reach me on there for sure. I'll do my best to respond. If there's a way I can give it to Selena and Matt, I have like Twitter and stuff. So whatever's you guys recommend, you can contact me on. That's fine. Twitter, ArtStation. Yeah.
If you want, I can bear with me 1 second. Let's get up a desktop here. Am I able to do this? Or possibly not, actually. What I can do is in chat, we can message it to the group or to the viewers as well, and they can just click on it from there after the stream.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I also forgot to mention LinkedIn as well. You can contact me there as well. That's fine, Matt. No worries.
All right. Well, I think that's all the time that we have today. Matt, did you want to just quickly touch on some of our upcoming events before we wrap up?
Yes, thank you, Sel. I guess we are wrapping up towards the end of this year. We are looking very much forward to next year and the new events and information evenings, open days, all of it hopefully back on campus for all campuses. But in the meantime, if you head to our website, we do still have a few interesting and fun little events coming up. So one of the new additions, or what we've currently been offering for anyone who is interested in studying at AIE or learning more, we've got campus tours, so group campus tours now. So definitely feel free to head onto the website and book in a free campus tour. One of the event officers from the state, such as Selena and myself, we're more than happy to show you around the campus, introduce you to some teachers, use us as a resource, ask us questions, and we can definitely give some guidance about what pathway is right for you, and definitely give you some information from the teachers regarding, all right, if I'm going to be an artist, what am I actually going to be doing? So a bit of an insight into the industry and into the career pathways. And then in January, we do have our first event of the year, the Information Evening. So you can definitely head to the website right now and book in your spot for that in January. So on Information Evening, we get each of the streams and the teachers to give a presentation just detailing what you would study throughout the year, and also, once again, just career opportunities within that field. So yeah, some exciting times ahead for us. But other than that, once again, feel free to reach out to your closest AIE campus. If you have any questions, our friendly staff are always more than happy to help. And if you want to reach out to Jacob, 3D artist extraordinaire, as I introduced earlier, I will put his LinkedIn and his ArtStation in the chat after this as well. So Jacob's a very friendly person, so I'm sure he would be happy to answer any questions as well. So, but that's all from me, Sel. So thank you so much, and thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Selena, I'll leave it to you to say goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Sorry.
And I think we just forgot to mention as well. But next year we also have a series of really awesome live streams coming up as well. And if you come to one of our open days, maybe you'll catch Jacob in person, and you can ask him everything that you want to ask. But yeah, that's all the time that we have for today. And we'll see you next year. I believe that's when our next live stream is going to be. So see you guys next year, and have a Merry Christmas as well in advance.